You're watching Woman Without Limits.
Don't let what you've done hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits. Woman.
Good evening, viewers. You're welcome to Woman Without Limits. I tell you, I keep telling you, I will always tell you that that's exactly who you are. Don't you ever let anybody trash you. Woman Without Limits, I know many of you that have been watching it are blessed and absolutely transformed, because this is what it's all about. We bring you people that have come from very, very low places of life. I mean, that have been mistreated by life, that have grown up with in lack, with nothing absolutely, but God has turned around their story. And the reason why I always bring this kind of people is so that you can know that you are not the only one. God can raise you up from nothing. I have seen women from all walks of life being raised up from the slums, being raised up from nothing, being raised up even having not gone to school because of lack of finances. But you know what? It's not where you're coming from that defines you. You can turn your life around no matter who you are, no matter where you are. And that's what Woman Without Limits is all about. Our programs have been revolutionizing your life, and we thank God that you've been giving us feedback on how we are truly affecting your lives. Now keep those feedbacks coming, keep them coming, because it really matters for us to know that we surely are reaching you right where you are. Now tonight, it's amazing. We have this wonderful, wonderful woman that you all seem to know because, you know, she's always on our faces. But the beautiful thing is that she has a magnificent story. Tonight we are bringing Nancy Muthoni. She is a CEO in the First Avenue Real Estate Boutique. And we want to ask her, Real Estate Boutique, Muthoni, what does that mean? You're welcome to Woman Without Limits.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kathy, and I'm happy to be here, and
It's
I
so
love
good.
your show.
Thank you, thank you. It's so good to have you. Now, Muthoni, what do you mean by boutique?
I run a boutique company. It's called the First Avenue. It's a real estate boutique company. What do I mean by boutique real estate company? We offer tailor-made solutions. If you have land or you're looking to build and you don't know where to go or where to start, we give you solutions. We give you concept to design. We work with you to conceptualize your product. Then we give you the designs, and then we help you all the way to looking for finances. Then we sell. We market the products, we showcase the products, and then we sell the products for you. But we give you value added all the way.
Wow, so that's what the boutique means.
Yes.
And the First Avenue, what? Okay. Oh, thank God. So tell me, Muthoni, you didn't just start there. You are a beautiful woman. You look amazing. And I know everybody watches you and says, wow, you know. But Muthoni, this is not where you began.
This is not where I began, Pastor Kathy.
You were born in poverty.
I was born, I wouldn't say poverty, but I was born like anybody else. In not so much. My parents, my father was a civil servant, my mother was a nurse, but we were many in the family. We were 6, and as any Kenyan family, you have your relatives. So you basically, it's a hand to mouth basically. I find when you're taking your children to school at the same time, it's very, very challenging.
Right.
Even today.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, if you have 6 children who are all going to school at the same time, who all have different needs at the same time,
you will sweat.
You will sweat a little bit. So that's the kind of family I came from. But but having said that, I came from a happy family.
Oh, good. Good. You know, that's what matters. By the way,
Yes.
they say like a lot of families that don't have so much, they are very happy. They laugh a lot.
Yes.
They, you know,
In fact,
they have each other.
That's the saddest, that's the beauty of where I come
Right,
from.
right.
I come from a family where I am completely and utterly loved. I come from a family where I'm daddy's girl. I'm mommy's mommy. I am completely loved. My siblings love me and my relatives love me. So I come from a nest that is very secure.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing.
That is.
That even if you don't have all the luxuries, you have
Each other.
and you have an anchor in your home. You know, you can go back home. That's where you're allowed to be yourself. That's where you're allowed to make mistakes. That's where you're allowed to shine. That's where you're groomed to become somebody. And that's the most important thing. And that's where values are instilled in your life. That's where certain values were instilled in me, that there are certain things I cannot do. You cannot see me in certain places. Not because I don't want to, because my values don't agree with them. And that's what
awesome.
defines me.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you grew up in the village.
I grew up a village girl. I am a complete village girl, so I'm a tomboy in a way. And life in the village is beautiful. Life in the village is where you don't have, you're cooking chapo next door.
Right.
We can smell the chapos.
Yes.
So we visit you and eat the chapos. You know, you don't have sugar. You go to your neighbors and borrow sugar. That's how I came from. So giving and taking, you know, it wasn't a big deal. We gave and we were given. And it was normal where I came from.
Right.
But we loved each other, and the entire village, we loved each other.
And you knew each other. Everybody knew the other.
Yes.
In
And
the village.
I come from a village where I was also disciplined by the village. In terms that if you make mistakes and you meet somebody and you're making a mistake, the old man that you meet, your neighbor's father, your friend's daddy, can discipline you.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
That before, actually,
Yes.
the older people would stop you and ask you where you're going.
Yes.
And they are not your parents.
Unatoka
So it's
wapi?
like everybody was brought up by everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
That's
life I come from.
something. Yeah.
And it's very important for me that even my children, I'm a mother, and even my children, I brought them up as a single mother with other people being their mummies. So I have people who are my children's mummies, my good friends who have become a mummy to my children. So their husbands have become their daddies to my children. So that's the kind of way I brought up my children too.
Okay. So before we even get down to your children and how they grew up, you know, you need to tell us, you got married at a very tender age.
You know, Pastor Kathy, I fall in love very deep. I don't fall in love light. When I fell in love, I was a little girl and I fell in love to my star. I tell you, it's amazing how I talk about that.
Yeah.
I was so in love. When I meet my girlfriends who have known me since then, they tell me they had never seen such love. I loved very deeply, and I loved him. I loved his family. I think it's child love. You know, it's where you just love and all.
For real.
It's meals and bull and all you want is that love. So I loved very early. I got married very early, and I've gone to school later in the years, but I really got married very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why did you choose that direction?
I just fell in love. I just fell in love,
Okay.
and nothing could have changed me. You know, I fell in love, and I fell in love, and I fell in love.
That's
and
it.
What your good mother would do, your good daddy and his daddy is. What our one?
Yeah.
It's the best thing. Let them get married.
Right.
And that's what we did. We then got married, and we got two beautiful children.
Yes.
I had two beautiful daughters.
I know your girls are as beautiful as you are.
They are the number one.
Okay.
Very successful in their own right.
Okay.
And but we grew apart. You know.
So tell me, yes, you grew apart. First you were so in love, then you
And
grew apart.
I think when you're in love, too in love, it hinders you to see certain
Like you
things.
go in with your heart without your head.
No head at all.
When reality hits home, you're like, oh Lord, what did I just get myself into?
It's all this,
Yeah,
you know.
So it didn't work out. So after how long did
It was about
did it
6,
fail?
7 years.
Right.
Yes, and then it didn't work. He moved on, and I moved on, and it's been a beautiful journey.
Yeah, but before now, you know, we get to where you are right now, Muthoni. You really went through serious challenges after that because you're married and divorced very young.
Yes. And this society, I think today it has changed, but by the time I was getting married and divorcing, a lot of people never divorced. So a lot of my peers, my friends, my girlfriends, when you get married, like any young girl, when you get married, you tend to get friends with people who are also married.
Right.
So you start getting a clique of friends who are, you're all married, you're all happy, all frills, you're all having children, you're buying pink and blues, you're all into this cloud nine.
Excited,
yes.
yeah, right.
Then when it breaks, when now you're no longer married, first that clique now can never have you back. So that's the first rejection I faced, where the clique never accepted me back, and I wasn't part of the beauty. You're not part of the
beautiful. You don't have a beautiful story, so please keep aside.
Keep aside and don't get near us. That's the first time I actually faced major rejection.
Did you try to like stay in your marriage? Did you try to save it? Did you try?
You know what? We loved each other, but I think I don't want to say I didn't try, but I think it was already
too much. It was gone. There was nothing. There was nothing to fight for.
No.
Okay, so your friends now
but we are
started
civil,
rejecting you.
but we are very civil. We had a beautiful ending, and we've been very civil, and it's not personal. It's just that it didn't work. He's moved on. He's got a lovely family. He's happy, and he's a wonderful man. And he's the father of my children.
Yeah.
But it didn't work, and life moves on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, Muthoni. So now your friends now rejected you and just didn't want to see you at all. And they said, nah, forget it. She's a divorcee liver. So tell us about the challenges then, because you went through a lot trying to make ends meet, trying to raise up your children. You're still a child yourself, and you are trying all this to juggle it by yourself.
At the time, I was working in a bank. I then moved from the bank and I went to work for Diners Club, because I'm trained in financial services, and I had a good job, so it was slightly easy. But along the way, Diners Club collapsed, so I didn't have a job, and that's when now it became tough. I started selling clothes. I'd travel, bring clothes and sell. I had a little boutique that we called it Shewana. Shewana means Sherry, Wanchi, and Nancy in Mombasa.
Wow!
And it was a lovely little boutique. I like lovely little things. So, but it was very hard, Pastor Kathy. And then at the same time, I was doing corporate uniforms for the hotels. But then the hotels in Mombasa went through a period where they didn't have tourism, things had collapsed. So,
so the brook dried.
The brook dried. Hello?
Hello.
Complete.
I know what you're saying.
The brook dried.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that the brook must dry for you to get to the next level?
When the brook, and for you to see other opportunities.
Right.
When the brook dried, I think that was the hardest for me. The brook dried. I don't have any other source of income. I have 2 children. What do? I borrow. You start borrowing. You become, you become, when your friends see you, they go through that. Because really,
they know she's just coming to beg. She's become a beggar. She's a borrower. Yeah.
One shida after another.
Yeah.
Who has school fees.
Yeah.
You know how I can help you, Pastor Kathy, but surely I can't help you pay your rent. I can't help you buy your basics.
Yeah.
I can't help you pay your school fees.
Yeah.
I can't help you even steam
I can't carry you.
I can't carry you
forever. Yeah.
And I can't carry you fully.
Yeah.
I can help you bits and pieces.
Yeah, right.
But not fully. And I think that was my hardest point. My hardest point in life. And my children had to go to school, and it was one day at a time.
Right.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Every day was a new day.
Yeah.
Every day was a new story. And that was my most challenging time, when you don't know where to turn to. I think that is very worrying as a single mother, because when you're married, you're 2.
Yeah.
So when things go bad, at
you
least
can
you
talk.
talk.
Yeah.
Yes. You can talk.
Yeah. Cry together.
Yeah. Tomorrow is another day.
Tutatokelezea.
Tunawesmake. But when you're alone,
Yeah.
you tend to go to people. People get tired with your story. You tend to feel like you've reached the end. And people make you bring it closer. The end comes closer.
Yeah.
But all in all, God is faithful.
So at that time, you were so discouraged that you would call people on the side.
Yes.
I remember that story that you were telling me. I know somebody out there will be blessed. And if you're watching us, listen to me. Your story is not over until God says it's over. Don't you ever let society put you down. Yes. Don't ever let anybody, or any kind of rejection finish for you. You are a woman without limits.
I'll tell you about when I went through the divorce. When I went through that period, for some reason, divorce is very hard. Don't be cheated. It's almost like a kind of death.
Do you know I've heard somebody say that before?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
actually very hard.
Yeah.
So initially you're all looking, okay, I can do
Like,
without
I don't
you,
care,
and I don't
it's
want you,
whatever.
da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. But I'll tell you something, it's very hard. After the divorce, I
Yeah.
think for me the shock is how people reacted. Because you know when you're going through that process that you're going to break up, you've told your friends, Pastor Kathy have come and shared with you,
Yeah.
it's not working, and I'm telling you, I'm considering, maybe it's a wrap for me,
Yeah.
you know, and you're telling me, if it's not working, it's okay. Then when it eventually happens, you then say, by the way, hata kuja kwangu, mzee wangu apendi sana.
Yeah. Oh Lord, yeah.
Mzee wangu,
Yeah.
for now, let's chill. Let's, to chill when we meet, if I have one lady who told me, I don't want to hurt you, but I don't want people know that we're really friends, Let's keep it under the wrap,
Because now you're a divorcee.
Yes,
and,
and it's going to spoil my CV and where we are going.
you are not accommodated.
No.
Yeah.
So I went through a phase where I had to talk about it. I think it is my way of letting go.
Yes, it's a woman's way. Women heal as they talk.
Pastor
As
Kathy,
you talk, you heal.
I became a radio. You just need to turn the majira.
You
And
will talk till tomorrow morning.
I will meet you on the streets. And then you don't know I broke up with my ex. So you say,
Right.
how is your ex? I
Come.
tell you, Pastor Kathy, sit
Come.
here.
Yeah.
You know what he did. You know what he did do.
Yeah.
You know his family did.
Yeah.
You know my friends did. I went on and on. I call it my Kahiga experience, my stone experience. Because
Yeah.
one day actually, I sat, we met with a friend of mine. I had not seen her for so long. And it was in the morning, we were both of us going to work. And I had come to Nairobi for a meeting. Do you know, Pastor Kathy, we sat, and it was near 20th century. I'll never forget. We sat there, and she wanted to go, but she's my friend, and she's feeling kind of sorry for me. Eventually, we sat on a stone until 5 o'clock.
In the evening.
In the evening.
Just
Me
lamenting
giving her, no,
and
just
crying.
telling her, wow,
Yeah.
where do I turn? What
Yeah.
will I do? And
Yeah.
try and take it
He
easy.
left. Yeah.
And he's not even helping, he's not looking back. Initially you're like, it can't really happen. When it happens for real,
The reality hits.
the reality hits.
And you're in
yeah.
so much pain, you don't even know what to
Yes,
do.
and anger and despair. I think mainly it's despair. You despair and despair and despair.
And then disbelief.
And then the way people react. You're like, Allah, it's not a big deal. It's my life. Come on.
Yeah.
But the way they're reacting, and you're young. If it's today, I'll tell you, lose my number.
Yeah.
But then I was young. Where do you turn to?
Right.
Yeah.
So now, after your Kahiga experience, how did you rise up? Because there is that time of challenge.
Yes.
But then now we know that you're no longer there. Tell us how you rose up, and maybe you can help a woman who's watching us today, how to rise up from challenges, from pain, from rejection, from the past, from your background. How did you rise up from there?
First of all, you must have a relationship with God. Let God be your anchor.
Wow.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you must surround yourself with people, no matter what, they love you. It doesn't matter. And God is faithful. He'll leave one or two remnants who tell you, sweetie, you look nice. Sweetie, I bought you a pair of jeans. I bought you some cream. Sweetie, I love you, And then you have, for me, my family. I come from a family, I'm loved regardless. It doesn't matter.
Whether you have, whether you don't have.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even during that time, my mother fed us for years. I would go home over the weekend, would carry food on Sunday when we are coming back to town, then we would have food for the whole week. For years. And in fact, we laugh a lot about it today. But you must have some anchor. I think if you're alone, it can be very challenging. And in fact, you can really go down. You need people who speak into your life. I come from a family where my parents every day, unaonaje, how is it going? Every day we discuss,
Right.
how
Where
things
you
are.
are at.
And then I'm also very privileged to have a mentor, my spiritual authority, Evangelist Teresia Wairimu, who speaks into your life every day and tells you, girl, wake up.
Kwanzaa, mom has no time for crap. She's like, what are you crying about? Wipe those tears and get up. She's so
And
strong.
you're shaking like this,
Yeah.
and she's saying things, and you're like, that can't be me. You can't be talking about me.
I know.
And so you find yourself now, slowly by slowly, it's the bad things, the things that people say, they start falling off.
Right.
Once you start feeding your mind with good things, positive things, better friends, you start dreaming again.
Yes,
You
yes.
start wanting again. You know, things that were impossible become slowly by slowly
A possibility.
a possibility.
Right.
And that's how I started. I cannot tell you it wasn't a one-day thing. It was a journey, and it's been a journey, and I'm still in the journey.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you walked through it, and now what you can tell somebody is pick yourself up
Pick yourself up.
and start to dream again.
You must, sweetie, I tell all girls, you must keep those dreams.
Right.
Sweetie, what keeps you going? What makes you walk with that?
Your shoulders, with your shoulders up high.
What makes you walk high again
Yeah.
is only a dream. It's not that you have,
Yeah.
but you have like a dream one day.
I will wake up. I will arise. I will be somebody.
Yes.
My children will not go down the
No,
drain.
no, no.
They will be schooled, and they
Yes.
will do well.
And-
So you started to dream.
And speak positive.
Right.
I'm a very, very positive person. In fact, every time I've gone through a challenge, I remember some of my friends saying, when I told them what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do my show, I'm going to
Yeah.
do this, and they're looking at you and say, you know, she speaks
Please,
positive.
yeah.
She just speaks.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just remaining focused,
Right.
remain in God, remain focused, and just work hard.
So what you're telling a woman right there is first love God,
Love God.
and then have a spiritual authority.
Must have a
that
spiritual
can
authority.
speak over your life.
I actually tell people, are you in a church?
Yeah.
Are you in a church where God speaks?
Yeah.
That's I always tell people, my friends, I meet them, they say, oh yes. I tell them, where do you go to church?
Yeah.
If tomorrow things didn't work, could they stand with you? Or is it because you're looking nice and pretty?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if you're told you're fired and it's put in all the newspapers, could they still stand with you? Could they still say you're their daughter? Because you're Pastor Kathy, whatever happens to your children, they're your children.
Exactly.
So are you in such a home? Are you in such a church?
An environment.
An environment where
Yeah.
you're treated as a child of that home?
Yes.
That's the most important thing. People who listen to your dream, your spiritual authority, you tell them your dream and your things have gone haywire,
Yeah.
and they still believe in that dream. Are you in such an environment? And if you're not, look for that environment.
Exactly.
Because really, the day things get hard, you need that authority.
Somebody
to,
you can cry to,
Yes,
somebody you can
yes.
call on,
and you can
somebody
share.
you can speak over your life.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when you tell, they tell you, even when you're going a bit off, they tell you, "Aye, that's a bit off.
Yeah.
Start with this.
Stay on track.
Anza na
Yeah.
kuuza tomato
Yeah.
before you start."
Don't,
Yeah.
yeah. It's only, by the way, it's only the grave
Yes.
that starts from the top.
Yes.
Everything else
Yes.
starts from the bottom.
Amen.
So it's good to start where you are. So you started picking up yourself.
And remain in focus,
Right.
work hard,
Right.
and get good networks. You know,
Meanwhile-
nurture good friendships,
Right.
nurture good networks. That's the most important thing.
Meanwhile, where were your children at this hour?
My children, I can tell you, I remember I was with my children. I'll tell single mothers, live with your children.
Talk today.
Live with your children.
Eh.
A lot of people, when things are hard, you go and live in town and leave your child in
With
the
your
village.
mother, yeah.
I live with my children until even now. My children, my one has got married. Sherry is still living with me. I live with my children. Live with your children. Let them see that hard life. Don't try and hide, and be honest with them. Kumeumana.
Kimeumana.
Kimeumana.
Things are thick, babies, but you know what? Tutatoboa.
Tutatoboa.
And that actually helps them even to believe and to have faith.
And pray with your children.
Right.
Learn how to spend time with your children.
I remember we went through such a wilderness. Our children knew what wilderness is. They
Yes.
were asking us, when is the wilderness finishing? You know, because
I know.
they knew. So I know what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
very important to bring them into that and let them grow seeing.
And let's
Yeah.
be together.
Right.
We're going to grow up together, you know. Things that perhaps you've taken for granted over the time.
Yeah.
Now you no longer take it for granted.
Yeah.
We are together in this journey.
Exactly.
And that's what happened. So I lived with my children. They saw the hardships. It was hard, and remain there and focus on your children. What is important is values, education. There are certain things. It's not money. What is important is not money.
It's
Money we
education
can
and
make.
values. Yeah.
Money we can make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other things
Values,
that
the
are
foundation.
foundation. So
Yeah.
focus on the foundation of your children. Be friends with your children. Make sure that they can share with you. Because a lot of time, if you miss it there, then you lose your children.
You miss it for life, by the way. If you're not with them when they're growing up, then they'll never be with you.
So I've always been with my children.
Right.
They are now very successful.
Okay.
My daughter Wanji does solar energy. She works for an American company, and she looks after accounts in Panama, Papua New Guinea, so she travels a lot.
Right.
And my other daughter is a doctor. She's a pediatrician, and she's based in Kenyatta. So they've grown well.
Amazing daughters of Zion.
They are amazing daughters of Zion. And you know they love daughters of Zion.
I know. I totally love them. Oh my God, I've seen them grow up, and I totally love them. Amazing, amazing kids.
The other thing that is very important, I find, as a single mother, you must take your children to the house of God.
Let them grow in the fear of God.
Because God has a promise on children. The way you bring them up, when they grow up, they shall not depart from it.
Right.
So if you bring up your children in the house of God, trust me, they will grow.
They will end up there. Even if they
meander,
go anywhere,
even if they meander,
they will find their way.
They'll find their way.
They will find their way. They'll always find their way back to the house of God.
They must.
Wow, that's wonderful, Muthoni. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. We are talking to Nancy Muthoni, a powerful CEO, amazing woman. So now, you now got a very big job. I mean, you are in an amazing company doing absolutely well after all the hula-baloos.
What I did, Pastor Kathy, I went back to school, as I told you. I studied real estate. And why did I study real estate? I remember traveling once to the UK to visit my sister. And we met this lady, we went to visit this lady in her house. She had a computer and she was running the areas, it was like an agency for that area, and it was in her house, and she had her 2 telephones, her fax, and a board that had all the properties she was handling. Inside me, a bulb went, Papa, this is what I want to do. Wow. I can work from my house, look after my children, and do this. And she told me the courses I would take, and I enrolled in the UK. So I was in and out of Kenya traveling just to study, and I studied and I came back. And then I was looking for a job. And at the time I had a very good friend of mine who is a judge, and he told me, I remember telling him, I've got an offer, because this was a very good credential. So they said, you can work in these 4 companies. I went for interviews, I got all of them. And remember, I'm coming from selling clothes, nothing is working. Now I've gone back to school, I'm now repackaging myself, and now I'm moving now to do real estate. And when I was there, I got 3 offers. And I remember going to my mentor, and I told him this is, and we had lunch with him and his wife, and I told him, these are the 3 companies that have called me. And he told me, don't take this, you're not gonna be a star there. They already have stars. Take this, you're gonna be a star. Take here, you will learn, you'll be the messenger, you'll be the tea girl, you'll be the driver, you'll be everything. And this is where you will learn. And that's how I started my journey in real estate. Then it's been one thing after the other.
Yeah. While you were still in the real estate in this company that you are working for, which we were not going to mention names, something went haywire. And you went through yet another challenge. Now you are up there, I mean, you're doing well in the corporate, and then suddenly, boom, Muthoni's story is up there, and they're writing weird things about you. How did you handle that?
You know, Pastor Kathy, everybody goes through challenges. Everybody goes through a moment where things don't go the way you had planned. But I'll tell you something, that should never define who you are.
Come on.
What matters is what you carry.
Amen.
It doesn't matter what I say about you.
Yes.
What matters is what you carry.
And what I say about me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
you know, when Jesus asked, who do you say that I am? He knew already who he was. He wasn't just asking because he didn't know. So it's very important for us to know you.
Know you.
Yeah.
Again, what I went through that time, again, it defined my friendships. It redefined who I am, and it redefined what is important to me. So you drop, you know, as you grow older, even as you continue growing, you start taking things and thinking they're important. You think some relationships are important, some friendships are important, but you go through a little rattle in your life, and then you see it's not important, you know, and other opportunities opened up for me. And I think for me, every time I remember that season, I think God wanted me to move to the next season. And you know, you became comfortable, you're easy, and you're being rejected and hated, and everybody would doesn't need you.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there feeling pretty and nice, because you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And it was a moment, it was a defining moment for me. It's when opportunities just came.
Yeah. So you have to let go of this for God to open up another door.
And in fact, I am so happy that they did. In fact,
that it happened.
A friend of mine recently, one of the top bankers in this country, visited me in my office recently, and he told me, you need to go back to them and say thank you.
Yeah.
Because if you're still there, you'd not be where
That's what I say. You know, what you're forgetting is that the word of God is very clear.
Yes.
The Bible says that God lays a table before you in the presence of your enemies. So you've got to have some enemies for the table to be laid. So sometimes when you're going through a hard time and people are feeling, oh my God, they don't understand that God is actually defining you at that hour and raising you up to another level. And that's how you started now becoming your own CEO.
Yes, that's how I became. I went to work then immediately after that scenario, I got a very good job with Renaissance. And I was their director for real estate, their real estate marketing director for Africa. So I was running their Nairobi office, their Nigeria, Ghana, Lumumbashi, and I was running all those projects. And I tell you, Pastor Kathy, that's where I learned who I am. Come on. That's when I realized. So in your pain? In my pain. God elevated you. Completely. And then you now discovered, oh, wait a minute. And this is who I am. And you go to a company where they are now treating you a first-class citizen. Even when you're traveling, your tickets are first class, everything is first class, you're being picked first class. I realized, Allah, kumbe kuna life ingine. I was used to watching. Sasa, your first class, your per diem is first class. Everything changed. You're traveling to Russia, you're in London, you're in South Africa, you're in Ghana, you're in Nigeria, you're giving presentations, you're meeting who is who in the world. Hello? You said, oh, okay. It was all good. I thought I had arrived. Really, I thought that was it for me. And God was showing you, this is not it. And this is so little. There is greatness in you. There is something. And he had to bath it through the pain. Yes. Isn't that amazing? Complete pain and complete heart and complete disgrace. You know, and then he clothes you with his glory again. Wow. Oh my God. That will preach. That right there will preach. And if you're watching us on television, don't you ever give up. It doesn't matter who gives up on you. Don't give up on yourself. Don't allow the devil to name you. You're already named, that you're that woman without limits, because the Bible says no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. The weapons shall be formed, but it will not prosper. It can only prosper if you allow it. So here is Muthoni telling us she was ostracized, she was ridiculed, she was rejected, she was put down. I mean, all hell broke loose against her. She was sacked, she was put on the papers. It was bad. But you know what? She decided, I'm going to pick up myself one more time. And guess what? God was waiting on her to take the first step. Then God took 10 towards her. Don't give up. It's been a beautiful journey. And you know, when I look back, actually, I just thank God that I went through that, because it makes me now very soft on people who are going through a hard time. I can understand. If you come and tell me your children have no school fees, darling, I've been there. You get it. You have no bus fare? Hello, I've been there. You've been auctioned? I've been there. Know. I know it. So it's been a beautiful journey. Yeah. So it's for me, it's what's made me. So I can understand. Yeah. So you picked up yourself and you saw yourself being raised up by God himself in so many, in every sphere of life and sphere of influence. And so now here you are now. You started this company, and God started to now raise you up in this company. You have people working under you now. What I do today is I run a real estate, one of the leading real estate consulting firms. And as I told you, we offer you advisory services. If you have land, or you have this piece of land and you don't know what to do with it, we organize for you joint ventures, or even we come and help you get finances to build. And we give you what we call a feasibility study, because a lot of people don't deal with professionals. So we help you get a feasibility study, which defines what is best for that use, for that piece of land. Property. That piece of land, we tell you what's the best. Then we come back and help you select the professionals that you're going to work with. And then we come in and sell. So I hold a lot of seminars, I hold a lot of bus tours, I take people on bus tours to see various properties within the country. We are doing county editions where we'll be taking you to the counties to see which are the leading destinations. Where, if you wanted to invest today, where would you invest? And do I say, when people, international companies come to Kenya, we are the first port of call to ask us about the real estate sector.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. So you're enjoying yourself. You look like you're excited about what you do.
I enjoy what I do, Pastor Kathy. When
that's
CNN
beautiful.
called on us the other day,
That's what I wanted to ask. You are called by CNN.
CNN called on us. That means we are leaders in what we do.
You go, girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you, sweetie.
That's really, really beautiful.
Thank you, sweetie.
And then you went back to school.
Then I went back to school. I've just finished Strathmore. I'm just about to join, I won't say, but I'm just about to join one of the leading universities in the world as well. I've just finished with Strathmore. It's been a beautiful experience.
Wow.
Beautiful experience.
Yes.
And Strathmore has been, I've made lasting friendships. I've made Pan-African friendships within Africa. And it's just taught me how to handle myself and go to the next level.
Amen.
It's been an experience I never thought. It's changed my perspective again and again and again.
So you are enlarging your territory.
Completely.
This is not it for Muthoni.
No.
You're
this
still
is
going.
just the beginning.
So what are you telling a woman that's watching us today?
What I'm telling a woman out there, remain focused. Know God. Get a relationship with God. Surround yourself with good friends. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you. It's not that when you do something, they just expose you. They hide your back. When you're seated, you know, Pastor Kathy hides my back, so-and-so hides my back. And just make sure that you know what you're doing. And if you're starting a business, or if you're in a business, deal with professionals. Try and get professionals. The way you package yourself, the way you brand yourself, the way you want to sell, whatever you're doing, try and involve professionals. It doesn't matter where you are. God is faithful.
Muthoni, so now here you are with so many challenges and with rejection, people looking down on you, husband leaving and going, and you know, showing like he didn't even look back. You must have been bitter and angry.
Pastor Kathy, I was bitter and angry while
Yeah.
But with time, change your perspective. What is important to you? You have to be focused, remain focused. What is important? Either that can define you, the divorce, the rejection, the being fired can define you. Or you decide this won't define me and this is not what is going to write my story.
Before you decided that this is not going to write my story, when you were dejected, what were you thinking about yourself?
To be honest with you, I doubted myself at one point. I actually thought maybe something is wrong with me. How can everybody, I mean, you go here, they
reject you.
You actually start thinking, maybe it's me. So you start, because I'm very happy and very talkative, you start saying, maybe I should tone down kucheka.
To change yourself. The devil is a liar.
Because I'm always like, and you know, I start saying maybe, because you know, you start saying, you know, maybe you talk too much, then you start behaving pretty, you're not speaking. Maybe it's you start getting some manners. You say maybe
to try and please people.
Then maybe it's the way I'm drinking my tea. You know, the village manners. You start now getting some uzungu manners. You know, hoping that maybe
that they'll change their minds.
You actually start thinking it's me. It's me who has a problem. It's not them. So I went through that moment of maybe it's me. And then I went through a moment of, you know,
pity party.
Pity party. The stone, the Kahigas moment, where I would tell you, woye.
Yeah.
Then,
so you'd pull everybody to the stone. Sit here. Let me, you don't know what happened. Yeah.
Kuja alikwambia, Joe nikueleze vile alifanya. So I went through that moment, and then that's, it didn't help. And I find that with time, for me, the most critical thing is just going back to the closet to God. That is so important.
So look within.
Look within.
Stop looking without.
It doesn't matter.
Your help never comes from out there.
No.
It only comes from within.
It doesn't come from
You know
out.
what is said, Muthoni? The boat does not sink because there was a storm. It only sinks when the storm goes inside.
When water starts sipping inside, going inside, then the boat sinks.
That's when it sinks. But even if you go through a stormy situation, if that storm is just on the outside, it will not kill you.
And you know what? And you're able to see it.
Yeah.
When the minute it comes, now it's seen you.
Exactly.
It's
It's finishing you from inside.
You're
telling you are useless. That's why they don't like you. You're not beautiful. Look at you. So you actually start believing.
And you don't have, who are you? And you're looking at all your friends. They're all put together. Everything is working from them. And then you wonder, what the hell am I going through? but you must know yourself. Have a relationship with God. In fact, during those days, I became very close to God. I became a prayerful girl. I became a worshiper. It just draws you closer to God. You know, it just, and then
like he's the only friend.
He is the only friend.
Like, yeah. I mean, genuine will never leave you nor forsake you.
Then afterward, what happened? I felt like things started falling off. You know, those things that were important at that time, those moments of kahiga, those things that defined me, those heartaches, they defined me. They were very important. But I started now knowing God, and he started bringing other things that took center stage.
Like fast forgive.
Yes, and fast forgiving, it's not a quick solution.
Right.
Sometimes you have to forgive and let go, but you have to guard yourself. I learned how to guard my heart. That's the number one. I have learned how to guard my heart. You're not gonna shit in me anymore.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I don't allow you. And if you're saying things that are not true and they're not nice, I'll tell you. I'm not gonna sit here with the village sweetie girl.
Feel sorry.
No. I'll tell you. By the way, that's not true.
Yeah.
And people don't have facts. So if you confront them, they melt.
Yeah.
You know, if I come and say something, Pastor Kathy, and then it's not true, and then you answer back and say, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
You know, they just melt, and that's what happened. And slowly by slowly, then those things that I thought were important became useless, and they fell off.
Right.
But I forgave and let go and guarded my heart.
So what you're telling a woman that's watching us on television today is forgiveness is key. If you're going to go to the next level, you must forgive.
You must forgive.
Right.
You must let go. I have had to let, in fact, sometimes I used to meet Pastor Kathy people, I feel, I'll just tell you, but I just have to in fact, I have to have a discussion with God and tell God, you got to revenge for me. Yeah. You got to fight for me.
You know, he's our avenger.
Yes.
He's the one that's why he says the battle belongs to the Lord. Yeah. So don't even go fighting. No. So you ask God to fight for you.
Oh, I've always asked God. Even today in any challenge, I tell him, God, this one I ain't gonna fight.
Vindicate me,
you
Lord.
Vindicate me. I will not fight.
Right.
You vindicate me. Because I can't, Lord. I am so busy.
You can't, and then you can't go explaining to everybody, I'm not the bad one. It's, you know, you can't. Just let God do it. It's not.
And when it became non-important, it's no longer important to me.
Right.
I trust me, it's no longer important to them too.
Exactly. So you allowed God to help you to forgive, and you moved on now to the next stage of life.
I let go, but I guard my heart. I guard my heart.
Hello,
girls, don't bring back like it didn't happen. Guard your heart.
Just guard your heart.
Guard your heart.
Wow.
Guard your heart and guard your heart, and surround yourself with people who love you.
Positive people.
Positive. You go and share a dream, and they pick that dream and they help you to bring it out properly. They tell you, if you ongeza hii utoe hii, naona itafanya. It's not you, when you come to me, you tell me you've decided to sell tomatoes. I say, hata mimi nilikuwa nafikiria. Hapana, hata mimi nilikuwa nafikiria sell tomatoes. You wanted to do me because my husband said he'll open for me a supermarket for tomatoes. You don't need that. Or somebody who puts you down. Again, I found a lot of people like putting people down. And remember, the people who put you down, it's because that's where they are. Yeah, they want you to be where they are. Exactly. That's where they are. They pull you down because they want you to be in the same level. But you know, the people who actually celebrate you up, they want, because that's where they are. That's where they are, and they want to see you also go up. Oh, that's beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. Wow. I'm enjoying, and I'm at a space where I love it. Yeah. Yes. Are you thinking about marriage, Muthoni? Talk to us, girl. I'll tell you something. Maybe there's a man watching Woman Without Limits and thinking, is she married? Oh my God. I'll tell you something, Pastor Kathy. I purposely didn't get married because of my children. Because at the time, I wanted to focus on bringing up my children. I find marriage and relationships, it's work. Of course, so it's a lot of work. If you're bringing your children into another marriage and work, and you know, it's really hard work. But yes, I will get married. Wow. Yes, I will get married. Now you had her. May that man come. We wish you well. And I don't know where they are looking, because they need to look now. This is the hour. Maybe because, by the way, maybe you had a set mind of what you wanted. Not only that, I'm single by choice. Come on. Come on. I am single by choice. Yes. I had other priorities, and that's why I'm single by choice. Right, right. You had her. This is Muthoni, Nancy Muthoni, amazing, amazing woman. And I know that your life is absolutely transformed. Just know this. This can also be your story.
You can start from the village, you can start from nothing, and God can pick you up and turn you around. God's work is one, to turn our lives around. And every experience you go through, guess what? It's for a purpose. God never allows you to go through anything that you cannot handle. By the way, everything that you're going through, it is possible for you to handle it. You have what it takes. Sometimes when you go through a mighty thing, you tend to think, oh my God, my life is over. No, it's not over until God says it's over. And the only reason that God would allow you to go through a situation is because he knows he's elevating you through that situation. When Muthoni's life went down, she thought this was it for her, but God had another plan. And I tell you today, Woman Without Limits, God has a plan for you to give you a hope and a future. All you can expect from God is good and better and best. There is nothing in God that can put you down. You are a woman without limits. I'm so glad that you could tune in today. May the good Lord bless you. I'm Reverend Kathy Kiuna. You have yourself the most amazing week.
You're a woman